Welcome to the first module of the RiverTools series, Watershed Science. What is a watershed? When it rains, where does the water go? A raindrop falling on a stream or river becomes part of that water. But what happens to raindrops falling on the land? If the land is covered with plants, like a forest or meadow, or even a garden, the plants and soil will develop to use and absorb much of the area's typical rainfall. The hard surfaces of a city do not have this capacity, so these waters flow overland and into the city's pipes below the ground, eventually making its way to the nearest waterway. In Washington, D.C., when it rains, every school building, playground, parking lot, house, road, sidewalk, and even our parks will send its rain to a waterway. This is what defines a watershed. A watershed is all the land that water flows across to get to a water body. It is also the body of water itself. Have you ever heard the expression water flows downhill? A watershed is our word for the relationship between the land's hills and valleys with water. There are small watersheds inside of big watersheds, but there is no place where it rains that is not part of a watershed. Everyone lives in a watershed, and all depend on a healthy one. The District of Columbia is in one of the country's largest watersheds, the Chesapeake Bay. Our actions impact this watershed and determine our quality of life. We think of rain as natural, healthy, and unaffected by our actions. But consider the difference between rain soaking into the soil and being used by plants to grow, with the rain hitting hard surfaces on our buildings and roads. Rain running across rooftops and roads will wash off the pollutants sitting on these surfaces. When litter, sediment, car fluids, lawn fertilizers, and other harmful chemicals merge with the rainwater, it becomes stormwater. Stormwater is dangerous for the plants and animals living in our waterways. It threatens our water resource safety, affects our ability to enjoy the waters recreationally, and harms the Chesapeake Bay's economy. To help improve and protect our natural resources, many things are being done around the world to change the way hard surfaces of our cities handle rainwater. If all our rooftops, parking lots, sidewalks, and roadways could hold on to the water and use it, then less would become stormwater, polluting our waterways. The RiverSmart initiative is the District of Columbia's Department of Energy and Environment's signature effort to provide residents with education and resources to make a difference. The RiverSmart School program partners with schools throughout the district to install on their grounds innovative strategies to retain rainwater. In turn, these sites become living laboratories to teach students and staff and the community about the best ways to keep pollution out of our waters. The four most common tools, conservation landscaping, rain gardens, permeable pavements, and rainwater harvesting, are explored in detail in the following modules. While the underground pipes for stormwater are called gray infrastructure, these practices are known as green infrastructure. There are many other terms in this industry that speak to system functions and rules. If you want to deepen your understanding, we suggest attending a Watershed Steward Academy. If you are a student attending a RiverSmart school, you should know that you are part of the solution. Your schoolyard green infrastructure is helping to improve DC's waters. If you are a teacher, Your Green Schoolyard installation is an opportunity to demonstrate science, the arts, stewardship, and explore outdoor learning. If you are a school custodian or garden coordinator, your appreciation and knowledge will be critical to the persistence and health of these important city investments. Parents and neighbors will appreciate the educational and recreational services along with improved property values often associated with green infrastructure. Connecting the hard surfaces of our buildings, walkways, playgrounds, and parking lots to areas that can absorb and use rainwater with strategic green infrastructure means your school is helping your watershed. A city friendly to rainwater may resolve nuisance flooding and lower your costs as a resident in a city committed to healthy waters. We should all champion the approach because a city filled with green infrastructure is one with many layers of associated job opportunities. Healthy green schoolyards also means healthy students. Research has consistently found students with regular access to school green spaces have lower stress, improved concentration, and increased levels of performance. While RiverSmart school installations are designed to be resilient, they perform best and are most aesthetically pleasing when they receive regular and periodic maintenance. You, your friends, and family are part of the solution when you help keep the green infrastructure at your school beautiful and healthy. Next time you're outside, take a few moments to contemplate all the hard surfaces around you. What would it look like if all those surfaces were suddenly covered with green infrastructure? When our communities are filled with positive ways to use rainwater, the negative polluted stormwater will be a thing of the past. Broadly, green infrastructure falls into two categories: plants and soil strategies, and store it and use it strategies. Conservation landscaping is an approach in garden and park spaces that focuses on the interconnected relationships between native plants, healthy soils, and active wildlife, providing a robust system to soak up the rain. Module 2 is an illustrative introduction to help you recognize and maintain this practice. Rain gardens are different. These are engineered systems that buildings, playgrounds, parking lots, and other hard surfaces drain to. The soils here have been carved out and replaced with special sandy soil mixes with rock layers. Hardy native plants are chosen for their ability to survive very dry and very wet conditions. When it is in your backyard, we call it a rain garden. If a rain garden follows the length of a pathway, we call it a bioswale. If your school has one of these installations, it's probably called bioretention. The more scientific sounding the name, the more likely your rain garden has been significantly engineered. Watch Module 3 for important how-to tips so you can become the best rain garden steward. Your school is certain to have a nearby sidewalk, a playground, and sometimes a parking lot. Typically, these hard surfaces do not have room for the rain, but some specially engineered pavements do. Module 4 will explain how these work, provide tips on how to recognize them, and give the do's and don'ts for working around them. Rainwater harvesting is exactly as it sounds. You position a barrel or tank to capture the rainwater as it flows off a hard surface. Most commonly, it is catching roof runoff through a gutter and downspout. Once collected, the stored water is available to water plants, or in some cases, the water can be treated and used inside the building for things that do not involve drinking or cooking. Some DC schools use rainwater harvesting to flush their toilets. Some fire stations use it to wash their trucks. If rainwater harvesting is part of your RiverSmart school, it will be used for watering your gardens. Watch Module 5 to learn all about it. Many of Washington, D.C.'s schools and office buildings have green roofs. These plant and soil systems are built above the waterproofing layer of a conventional roof. There are many sizes and types, but this practice is not part of the River Smart Schools program and is not covered by the RiverTools modules. If you want to engage with this exciting new industry, we suggest consulting the main trade organization, Green Roofs for Healthy Cities. Whatever your motivation, you have taken the first step towards becoming a green infrastructure caretaker, a watershed steward, and a community champion. Use RiverTools to teach yourself and others so you know what to do and when to do it and when to call for a professional. Congratulations! You have completed Module 1, Watershed Science. Listen to the rest of the RiverTools modules to expand your green infrastructure knowledge and understanding. Use RiverTools to engage students and adults and grow your sustainable practices. We hope you enjoy the beauty of your River Smart School.